Hey everybody, how's it going? Tommy Star here, bringing you another top 10 video. And I appreciate you guys clicking on this video. Hope you guys enjoy it. Just recently posted my complete DC Marvel collection video, if you guys had a chance to see that. So I figured it was time to go through now and tell you guys about my top 10 favorite DC Marvel movies of all time. I was going to break it down, favorite DC, favorite Marvel, but I think it'd be more interesting just kind of do the overall DC and Marvel together. So we'll just call this my top 10 favorite superhero films. So anyways, we'll go ahead and get right into it, starting with number 10 as usual. And before I do that, like I always do, I'll go ahead and show you guys just a couple of honorable mentions that almost made it into the top 10 but didn't quite. Go ahead and check those titles out. So there you have it. Almost made into the top 10, but not quite. But still some very favorite DC Marvel films of mine. So, all right, everybody, we're going to go ahead now and get into it, starting with number 10. All right, everybody, so we're going to go ahead and get started now with my top 10 list. A lot was taken into consideration to put this list together as usual. I'm a huge fan of DC Marvel films. I think they're all fantastic. Other than a select few, I like them all. I always have fun sitting down doing various different DC Marvel marathons. I've even done a MCU marathon with my son. It took like all weekend. This is before the start of Phase 3, but so that would have been 12 films. I sat down and watched them all with my son throughout the whole weekend. I love doing it. I love the original Batman, Tim Burton Schumacher versions, even the Batman and Robin. I mean, I know it's cheesy, but I grew up on it, and I think it's a fun movie. You can't take it too serious. Some of these superhero movies you just can't. You just accept them for what they are and have fun watching them. That's the way I look at it. So, but we'll go ahead and get started now with number 10. Guardians of the Galaxy from the Marvel Cinematic Universe. This one's got the cool slipcover with Star-Lord on it. When these movies came out, you could choose the various different slipcovers for all the characters. Rocket, Gamora, Drax, Groot. And I chose the Star-Lord one. I thought this was the coolest looking one. Here's a look at the back. And then if you look on, I think the inside, you get all of them on there. I love this movie. I think one of my favorite things about it is the fact that it was MCU's first turn into a different direction. We had our standard films of the four main characters: Thor, Hulk, Iron Man, Captain, and this was their first turn into a different direction. Where we started getting new characters brought into the MCU. And I just loved it. I thought it was so fun. Such a cool movie. I was a little unsure at first, like, okay, now, because I didn't know a lot about the Guardians of the Galaxy. I didn't really know much who they were, and I was like, at first I didn't want them to stray away from the original four films, and now I'm so glad they're doing that because the MCU has turned into something so big now. But anyways, I absolutely love this film. I love the comedy. I think this, out of all the films, this definitely has the most comedy in it. That's what I really like a lot about it. And the soundtrack for this movie, I mean, that's, again, out of all the MCU films, this definitely has the best soundtrack in all those old school type of 70s hits and whatnot. I'm really excited for the new one coming out. Volume 2 should be out 2017. I've already seen a trailer for it. It looks just badass. But yeah, I love this film. It's always fun to watch. Definitely one of MCU's best, in my opinion. So yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy. Love this movie. All right, so coming in at number 9 is another film from the Marvel Cinematic Universe. None other than Ant-Man. This, of course, was the film that ended Phase 2. What I like about this particular copy is that it's got the black case, the black Blu-ray case, which I really like, and a pretty sweet slipcover as well. Here's a look at the back. Yeah, again, this was another film in the MCU that introduced a new character, of course, Ant-Man. At the time I heard that this film was coming out, again, like Guardians of the Galaxy, I didn't know a lot about Ant-Man. I think I may have heard of him at some point, but didn't really know a lot about him. So I definitely was curious. But from what I read in trailers and things, it just looked awesome. I couldn't wait to see it. And definitely, you know, is up there as far as my favorite MCU film. You know, probably my number two favorite in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I just love Paul Rudd. I thought they picked a perfect character to play Ant-Man. I mean, he just does fantastic work in everything he does. He's obviously known for more comedy, which of course there are a lot of comedy elements in this film as well, but there's also some serious stuff, and I like to see Paul Rudd when he does serious stuff. So this movie is just kicks ass. I love the suit. I love the Ant-Man character itself. I like the characters in this film. And then of course the big scene at the end with the toys and how everything, when they get shrunk down, how they're fighting on that train, that toy train and stuff. Just a lot of cool stuff about this movie, but definitely one of my favorites in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I'm excited to hear that down the road they will be making a sequel, Ant-Man and the Wasp. It was cool. We got to see Ant-Man in Civil War, and I heard he also will be in some upcoming Avengers films as well. So looking forward to that. But yeah, Ant-Man, definitely a top favorite of mine. All right, so coming in at number 8 is another film from Marvel, The Punisher, from 2004. This is the one with Tom Jane and John Travolta. One of the few superhero movies from DC and Marvel that's actually R-rated. And I think that's what I like about it. The few R-rated titles that we get, I like, being able to experience a DC Marvel film R-rated, just because we get some more of the, action gore type stuff that you don't get to see in some of the PG-13 ones. And you definitely get that in The Punisher. Another thing I really like about this movie is Tom Jane. Tom Jane's a favorite actor of mine, and when I heard that he was going to play The Punisher, I just thought that was awesome. John Travolta, a little iffy on him playing a villain, playing the role of Howard Saint. I wasn't quite sure how that would work out, but I thought he did good. Wasn't fantastic, but I thought he played a pretty good villain. But yeah, I mean, I really wish they could have made a sequel to this with Tom Jane. That would have been just awesome. Of course, we ended up getting Punisher Warzone with, what's that guy's name? Something Stevenson, I can't remember his name. He took over the Punisher role for another like reboot, but I heard that the Punisher now is actually going to be part of Marvel Cinematic Universe, or already is. I heard that they brought Punisher into the Daredevil TV show, which I have season 1 of. I haven't even started that yet, but and as we all know, the Daredevil TV show from Netflix is actually part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So it's cool now we finally get Daredevil and the Punisher thrown into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So I'm pretty curious how that's going to go down the line. But anyways, I love this movie. It's so cool. Just a lot of stuff about this I could go on and on about, but I've always loved The Punisher. Just a kick-ass movie. Just kick-ass action, and what The Punisher does is just kick-ass in this movie. So absolutely love this film. Definitely a strong number 8 for me. All right, so coming in at number 7 is from Sam Raimi's Spider-Man trilogy, Spider-Man 2. Definitely the favorite in this series. Spider-Man 1 is really good. I thought it was a pretty good origin story. There's something about the Green Goblin I just didn't really like. It just seemed too cheesy to me. But I really like Alfred Molina's portrayal of Doc Ock. I thought he did fantastic. Definitely one of the best played villains in a DC Marvel movie, I think. But yeah, it was just a lot of fun. I like how in this in part two, Peter starts losing his powers, and he's got to figure out how to get them back. It's a lot of fun. Harry finally learns that Peter Parker is Spider-Man at the end of the movie. And for those of you who may not have seen it, I'm sorry, but these movies have been out for quite some time, so I'm pretty sure spoilers are okay. But yeah, just all around really fun movie. Like I said, part one is really good as well. Part three is cool, but I mean, there's just a lot going on. Too many villains. Three villains in the film, and they couldn't really focus on one thing, so it just kind of got lost a little bit. I think it's still good. It's still fun to watch, but Spider-Man 2 is definitely the best in this series, in my opinion, and definitely comes in at a strong number 7 for me. So yeah. Other than that, I mean, I love all these movies. They're fun. We'll sit down and watch, all three of them. But Spider-Man 2 definitely takes the cake here. So. All right, so coming in at number 6, finally bringing in a DC title, which we got more comments. So, but anyway, number 6, Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. What can I say about this movie? I thought this movie was kick-ass. Okay, I know a lot of people didn't like this movie, and I can't really understand why. To be honest with you, I mean, I guess if I had to talk about one thing at the time of seeing it that I might have understood what they were talking about was, if it appears, it seemed at one point to me that with Marvel Cinematic Universe already on basically end of Phase 2, 12 films, or whatever it was at the time when Man of Steel came out. It might have been more 10 films, but anyway, it's they definitely had a lot of catching up to do. And I guess not so much in Man of Steel, but I guess in this one, it felt a little rushed. Like they're kind of jumping into things too quick. And I mean, that's what it appeared like at the time. I felt like, Wonder Woman didn't really belong in here. Why did they have to bring her in already? But now after seeing this movie a couple times and seeing Suicide Squad, which kicks ass, can't wait for that to come out. And reading more into what's coming out, that we already got to see a Justice League trailer. I know I'm kind of catching on now to the direction that they're going, and it's starting to make a little bit more sense of why they've made these films the way they have so far, if that makes any sense. But I personally like it. I'll be honest with you. When I found out that Ben Affleck was playing Batman, not that I don't like him, I think he's a really good actor, but I was kind of like, no, that ain't gonna happen. Because usually when they take a big known actor and throw him in a type of role like this, for me it usually never works. But I gotta be honest with you guys. I will sit here right now and tell you guys, I think he is pretty much my favorite Batman. Michael Keaton will definitely, hold a close place in my heart. Just for overall Batman movies, he's, to me, I mean, other than Adam West, who of course was awesome too. I grew up on the Michael Keaton character, so I think overall he'll probably always be my favorite. But I really like Ben Affleck's portrayal of Batman. It's he's obviously, as we know, he's more of a seasoned Batman. He's been Batman for quite some time. I don't know, he just seems like a little bit more wiser, and just more like, I don't know, he appears kind of like a Captain America type character to me. Like he just, what he stands for and things like that. But I really thought he did a really good job, you guys, and I really like this movie. This, of course, is that Ultimate Edition that came out with that extended R rating on this film, which is really cool. It's like an extra half hour. This is the cool digibook that came out. I really like this film, you guys. I thought it was kick-ass. I'm so excited for what is yet to come for DC. Suicide Squad was the third film. I thought that was a really kick-ass movie too. Again, a lot of negative reviews I'm not quite getting. I just think people are so into Marvel Cinematic Universe, and they have certain expectations from the DC universe, and they might not be getting what they want. And I like that because they're heading in a different direction. I think they're trying to really do it differently. They don't want to just copy Marvel and just throw out a bunch of origin stories and then end a phase with a big Justice League movie. They're not really doing that. They're, like I said, they have a different take on this, and that's what I love about it. So, but that's just my opinion on the DC Extended Universe. I'm really excited for it. Wonder Woman's coming next, and then we're gonna get the Justice League. So, and there's other movies lined up as well. So, but Batman v Superman, I thought it was kick-ass. I love Henry Cavill's portrayal of Superman as well. I thought he does really good. But yeah, absolutely love this movie. All right, that takes us back to Marvel, coming in at number 5, Howard the Duck. Yeah, I can just imagine what you guys are thinking right now. I never knew that Howard the Duck was Marvel. I've already said this before, but it wasn't up until I don't know how many years ago that I found out that Howard the Duck was part of Marvel, and I was pretty blown away by that fact. I mean, it's just funny. I think I always knew he was a comic book character, but I never knew he was actually Marvel. Now, just a quick breakdown of Howard the Duck. Everybody knows that it was set up to be a huge success in the box office. A lot of money was put into this film, and then it completely bombed. But over the years, has become a huge cult film. A lot of cult followers on this film. So, I absolutely love it. I know it's definitely got a lot of cheesy elements, but a movie I grew up on. Came out in 1986, I believe. And I grew up on it. I just love it. I think it's a fun movie. I'm curious if we're ever going to get another Howard the Duck. For those of you who may know the post-credit scenes in Guardians of the Galaxy, we see a new revised Marvel Cinematic Universe take on Howard the Duck. It's kind of funny, just a quick little scene, and it makes you wonder, are they going to bring Howard the Duck in at some point? Are we going to see him again in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2? That would be kick-ass. But anyway, yeah, I mean, if we're talking about Marvel, he definitely is a strong number 5, Howard the Duck. Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, it's a movie I grew up on. It's pretty close to my top 10 all-time films, greatest films of all time. If I say that right, it did make my top 10 list, but definitely made my top 15 for sure. But yeah, great movie. It's a lot of fun, you guys. A movie you can't take too serious. It's just you got to like it for what it is, and I do for sure. But Howard the Duck, all-time favorite film of mine and favorite Marvel film. So, all right, now coming in at number 4. And I gotta apologize, you guys. I'm really sick if you haven't noticed yet. But coming in at a strong number 4, we're gonna head back to DC again. The original 1989 Batman movie with Michael Keaton, Jack Nicholson. You guys, this movie, I'll tell you a quick little story about this movie. 89, I was 7 years old. Me and a friend of mine, his name was Michael. I was living in Wisconsin back in those days, and we were really into Batman. We watched the TV show all the time. At this point, it would have been 20 years that they had been playing the, classic 1960s TV shows. But we used to watch it all the time. We loved it. It was on TV all the time back in those days, and we always used to watch it. We always used to run outside and play Batman, Robin, and Joker, and all that stuff. When we found out they were making a Batman movie, we just freaked out. And something had happened when it came out in theaters. Me and Michael and his mom, his mom was taking us to go see it at the theater. I can't remember what theater it was at the time. Somewhere in Wisconsin. But we drove to the theater, and I don't know if they were sold out at the time. We couldn't get in, and back in those days you couldn't buy tickets ahead of time. And I mean, it was a big movie of that year. I think that's really pretty much what the problem was, is that it was sold out. We couldn't go see that theater. I remember us being really bummed out about that. So I think his mom took us to the store and got us some Batman toys, and we went home and played, and probably put on the Batman TV show. But anyway, so I ended up moving shortly after this movie came out. I actually moved back to Minnesota, and I remember when this came out on VHS at the time. Uh, you didn't know when movies will be coming out on VHS back in those days. You couldn't look it up, or I mean, just video in general. You couldn't look it up on on the computer. Wasn't really computers back then, so you just had to just wait and find out when is it going to happen. And then finally, a few months later, as normal, it came out, and my friend called me up and say, "Hey, it comes out, whatever day it was. I think it probably still was Tuesdays back in those days." So I went to his house that following weekend, and his mom rented this movie, and we sat down, got us some pizza, and we sat down and watched this movie. And my God, you guys, I just freaked out. I just loved it. So that's my little Batman story. Like I said, we had so much fun watching this movie. I've loved it ever since. It's just such a classic film, you guys. I mean, everything about this movie was made so perfectly. It's such a masterpiece for Batman. The portrayals from Jack Nicholson and Michael Keaton were just perfect. So fun movie, you guys. The original Batman will always be a top favorite of mine. What else can I say about it? Okay, so coming in at number 3 of my top favorite DC Marvel films, from Christopher Nolan, The Dark Knight Rises. Yeah, I mean, everybody was so blown away from The Dark Knight and Heath Ledger's portrayal of the Joker. I always wondered, are they going to be able to top this movie with the third one? And the trailer started coming out, and when I seen Tom Hardy's take on Bane, I remember when I first found out it was going to be Bane. I'm like, oh my God, he was so stupid in Batman and Robin. I'm like, what the hell are they going to do with Bane? But then I was like, well, it's Christopher Nolan. He's a freaking genius. And when I started seeing the trailers, I'm like, oh my God, this movie's going to be awesome. And it was, you guys. I love The Dark Knight Rises. It's so close to Dark Knight. It's just such a cool movie. It was a great way to end the trilogy. Another top performance by Tom Hardy in the role of Bane. These movies are so good, you guys. The Dark Knight trilogy is, in my opinion, the best take on Batman there is out there. Between films and animation, everything. I mean, in my personal opinion, I think The Dark Knight is definitely number 1. But The Dark Knight Rises, you guys, such a really good follow-up to The Dark Knight. Like I said, a great way to end the trilogy. Some great performances. Just kept me on my feet. When he defeated Batman in the first fight scene was just like mind-blowing. I'm like, oh my God, it was just so badass. To finally see a villain, take down Batman, you can't have the good guy win all the time, and that's what I like about it. I think Christopher Nolan, I mean, just his realistic take on the Batman was just so cool. But yeah, definitely a strong number 3 for me, you guys. The Dark Knight Rises. I'll always love that movie. This trilogy is the shit. That's all I can say. So, yeah, definitely my favorite. Doesn't matter what my favorite is. All right, so we're going to go back to Marvel now. Coming in at number 2, you guys, from the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Definitely my favorite from the MCU. Number 2 DC Marvel film of all time, Marvel's The Avengers. You guys, this movie is so good. What Marvel Studios did and what they're still doing is just one of a kind. I mean, they're the first time we got to see a series of movies put together in various different films leading up to this huge finale for Marvel's The Avengers. It was, like I said, I mean, a first of its kind. It was done so perfectly. And to think that many characters in one film, like, how they did it was just, they couldn't have done it more perfect, you guys. I absolutely love this movie. I saw it like 4 times in the theater. I love it. This was the collector's edition, Blu-ray 3D, Blu-ray, DVD, digital, and it even came with a music CD. Really cool slip cover. This was a Target's exclusive. But you guys, this is definitely my favorite in the series. Avengers 2 was, I think Avengers 1 was so good that I was expecting such big things from Age of Ultron and I didn't quite get it. It was still a cool movie, but wasn't anywhere near the original. But yeah, you guys, I'll always love this movie. It just kicks ass. It's definitely a one of a kind type of movie. And I just love what MCU has done since then. They're just, a great company. Marvel Studios putting together some kick ass movies. I'm so excited for what's to come. But yeah, Marvel's Avengers will always be number one in my eyes for the MCU so far. But yeah, gotta love this movie, you guys. So many good things about this movie. All around kick ass superhero movie. Okay, so that takes us to number one, my all time favorite DC Marvel superhero film. And it is none other than Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight. Oh my God, what can I say about this movie, you guys? When I heard, being such a fan of the original 1989 Batman Michael Keaton movie, when I heard that they were rebooting Batman, I was like, no, no, they can't do that. I saw Batman Begins, and I didn't know what to think about the movie when it first came out. Such a big origin story, and when I first seen it, I wasn't too thrilled. I didn't quite get where they were going, and then The Dark Knight came out, and wow. I mean, what can I say? Everybody knows. I mean, I don't have to sit here and tell you guys about it. Everybody knows Heath Ledger's portrayal of the Joker is just fantastic. I mean, I can't even find the right word to explain. Superb. I mean, you can't get better than that, in my opinion. He did so good. It was such an unexpected performance, in my opinion. Like I was just so blown away. I was like, wow. I mean, this guy, he did his homework. He nailed that shit in a completely different type of way. I'm not gonna sit and say like he nailed the Joker. You know what I mean? Because we have so many different portrayals of the Joker, and from animation and film. I personally think like the 1960s TV show, the Batman animated series, Mark Hamill Joker, and even Jack Nicholson. I mean, I think they're all pretty similar in look and laughs and the way they act. Tim Burton's Jack Nicholson was definitely a darker tone. But I think they're pretty much all similar. They all did great in their roles. Cesar Romero, the 1960s TV show, but they're all just great performances of the Joker. But what Heath Ledger did was just so different. It's just like wow. It's just such an interesting type of portrayal of the Joker, and it just was amazing. And again, it's Christopher Nolan. He tried to make this series as realistic as possible, and that's the kind of Joker I feel we got from Heath Ledger, was just a realistic Joker. He didn't fall in toxic waste. His face is not permanently white like Jack Nicholson. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with that. But, it was a realistic take, and he was such a freaky Joker, just creepy in a lot of different aspects. But yeah, just a masterpiece, you guys. Just perfect in every way. What else can I say? And again, I just keep rambling about Joker, but the movie was so good, and it made me understand more of Batman Begins. Batman Begins suddenly just became a really good movie and made more sense because I knew what they were doing, what they were leading up to. So, and now you just take all three of these movies and they're just fantastic. I'm so glad they didn't make a fourth one because I felt like it would have ruined it. I think they ended it just right. But yeah, you guys, The Dark Knight, it's just such a perfectly made movie, in my opinion. Definitely my top favorite of all time for DC Marvel. So I think it'll be a long time before we get another movie that tops this. But yeah. So there you go. What else can I say about it? This movie was just so damn good. Well, there you have it, everybody. My top 10 favorite DC Marvel films. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know, of course, down in the comments what your guys' favorites DC Marvel films are. Please give this video a like, and definitely drop a comment down below. Just let me know what you thought of the video. Share this video around if you guys could, and definitely keep an eye out for some more top 10 videos. The next one I'm going to do most likely is going to be Christmas, because we're getting close to Christmas now. Also have those Christmas movie marathons I'm going to do as well with my sister and brother-in-law. Stay tuned for those. Shopping videos, I'm not quite sure if I'm going to do one tomorrow. I'm trying to hold off as much money as I can for Christmas, but we definitely got a kick-ass movie coming out in the next 2 weeks. I'll definitely be doing a shopping video for that. You guys will see soon. But anyways, thanks again, everybody, for watching this video. Thank you for subscribing. I hope you enjoyed it, and you guys take care. We'll see you next time.